Today on Mama Z's Texas Kitchen, it is all about the seeds. Let's get started on today's video. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. Today, we're going to start my kitchen garden. Now, the main thing we're going to plant today is my herbs and some of my flowers that need to be started indoors. But one thing that I'm using is I'm going to use the Jiffy grow pallets. Now, they didn't have the empty pallets at my local box store, but they had this. And I've used this before, and it worked just fine for me. And I'm really kind of speaking to folks that may be kind of like me, that's on a budget and don't want to spend more on gardening supplies than it's worth growing a garden. So this was, I don't know, $3 or $4. It wasn't expensive. And we're going to slip this out. I'm going to show you how to use this because it's easy and it's convenient. So don't think you have to go to some of the name brand seed companies. I've looked at theirs and they're ridiculous. I get that they're sturdy and all that stuff. The thing with the Jiffy, it comes with a little deal here that you can mark down what you're planting where. And that is so important. The first year in the apartment that I grew stuff, I just put seeds in and I thought, I'll remember what it is. I remembered what nothing was. So by the time I actually put it in my grow bags to grow, it was a mystery to see what we were actually going to eat. So I highly recommend that you write it down. You can do this, use a notebook paper, whatever you want to do, because this is a 72 tray. Come on. And this is the lid that you put on it. But they only give you 6 sticks. So I guess if you were doing entire rows of one thing and we're putting your sticks down here, and it's maybe what they're thinking, would be fine. But for me, I don't need that many of one. So I wanted to go over real quick some of the things that I'm going to be doing in this batch. The first thing I want to do is all my herbs that I've got. I bought, let's see, let's get them all together here. Another pro tip, if you will. Always kind of write down what you bought from where, because I bought both the holy basil and the lemon basil from both Baker Creek and Mary's Heirloom Seeds. So that's fine. I mean, it's extra, but be sure and don't do like I did. And all right, some of the stuff I'm going to be planting, but this I'm going to direct sow is borage and marshmallow. Also have calendula, and I have yarrow. I guess is how you say it. That's what we're going with. I also have the holy basil, lavender, regular sweet basil, chamomile, white sage, rosemary, nasturtium, echinacea, lemon basil, and more calendula. So also over here I have some tomatillos. I've got my tomatoes. I've got sweet peppers. If I have room, I'm going to do some of my sweet peppers as well. But the first, and I have some Baker Creek sent me free Japanese wasabi. So we're going to plant that as well because I think that would be a fun thing to start. Okay, let's see. And this, on the back of this, I was just reading real quick. It says to sow in several small sections for a continuous harvest. So I'll probably direct sow these as well. All right. But the first thing you want to do is get your kit ready. Get this out of the way. I've got just some rainwater that we've got collected. And you just want to make sure to cover it. You just want to make sure to cover it about, an inch or so over your pods. And make sure all of them get wet. Some will float, but they'll expand pretty quickly. It probably takes 10 or 15 minutes to get it completely expanded. If you see some that starts, you can add a little bit more. Them down a little bit so they'll get all the water that they need. And then you just sit and wait for a minute and let them puff up. The instructions will say, well, the first thing I want to start with is I have some Luffa Seeds that I had bought probably 2 years ago from the Stivers. I mean, it still has their old logo on it. So, but I have always wanted to be able to grow loofahs because I think they're just really cool. But loofahs you have to start them early. I may have even waited too late to plant these or to start them, but we're going to try. I won't use all of them in case I have to save some for next year. In these, well, first thing you want to do when you get your little pods is tear back some of the topping to it. I'm going to put 2 seeds in each pod for the loofahs. My understanding of loofahs, they're really easy to grow, so probably going to do 3 pods of them. Now, a big mistake I made my very first year of doing this is I planted, each one of these pods had a different seed in it. And the problem with that is I didn't have enough space to plant them all. So a lot of them, they ended up dying. Or I gave them away. I gave a lot away too to friends. So keep that in mind if you're growing in a small space or, whatever you want to do. But just remember, you've got to have a place to put all these plants that you start. As my husband looks at me like, where are you going to put all this? All right, this is the lemon basil. I'm going to start them out down here. And these seeds are so tiny. But you just want to put 3 or 4 in a pod because you thin it out. That way you get germination. Let me do a whole row of lemon basil because I can share that. Okay. The next one is rosemary. Okay, so the second 3 on row 4 is going to be mullein. These are really tiny seeds. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're at row 5. I'm going to be planting some white sage. And I'm going to do a whole row Well, maybe not, because there's not that many seeds. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see. Now the instructions on this is white sage has a low germination rate, so they said put a lot of seeds in it and then you can thin it out. So you plant a lot of them, hopefully, and it was fine. I'm going to go ahead and start them indoors this year because I didn't have enough. I had like one echinacea plant. And I really want more. Now, I hear gardeners talking or wannabe gardeners talk all the time about, well, I don't have heat mats. I don't have heat lamps. Don't let that stop you, because I don't have any of that. And I still have grown a garden. Now, if I had all the stuff, would it do even better? Sure, I'm sure it would. But that all costs money and time and all that stuff. So, and if you're like us and you're on a budget, you got to do what you got to do. Okay. And again, I go back to, you don't want to spend more money than it's worth going to the grocery store and just getting it, or buying plants at the store. So, all right. Hadn't done lavender yet, right? Okay. This row is going to be lavender. That's pretty. You see those lavender seeds? If you're kind of noticing a theme here, yes, I'm trying to grow a lot of medicinal herbs.
Medicinal?
That word. Hey, y'all know that with the dyslexia, I don't always say the words right. But I try. That's the important part, right? Some words just don't want to form in my mouth right. I can't help it. I got calendula. I'll put that instead.
3 pods?
I may do, 3 pods. So until I get some more chamomile, like I said, this is one of several that I'll probably do of the buckets here. Those are interesting looking seeds too. Now, I do want to start a few peppers and some tomatoes. First thing I'm going to do is start some cayenne peppers. So I'm going to do at least 3 pods of the cayenne.
Underneath the loofah?
Underneath the loofah. If you didn't know, cayenne is so incredibly good for you. Okay. Did y'all have nasturtium yet? Nasturtium?
No.
Okay. I'm going to do 3 rows of nasturtium.
Next to the loofah?
No, next to the calendula, or whatever it was on.
Okay.
We're going back that way. I've got some of the Big Daddy hybrids. I'm not afraid to use hybrids. I do try to get the non-GMO. And I'm putting these in this row.
In which row?
Or the loofahs are here, and then the next row over.
Okay.
One of my favorite tomatoes I've ever grown, I got from M.I. Gardener, and it's the Black Sea tomatoes. They're really good. This one is called, it's a sweet pepper called Tangerine Dream. I'm going here.
How many?
3. So the last one I'm going to do, and I'm going to do 3 rows of my tomatillos. I'm really excited about this because we love salsa verde. Okay, the last thing you want to do is put your treehouse lid on it and set it in a warm, sunny space. I've got one out in our bedroom that I'm going to set it out there. We've got our list. We're going to mark on here what rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of stuff, so we know which direction we're going. Thank you so much for joining us today on Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. I hope you like this style of video. I know it's not a cooking video, but now that we're back on the farm, we're going to be doing more garden videos as well. Like I said, this is one of many that I'm probably going to be doing, or at least 2 or 3 more of these, because I still have a lot of seeds that I want to try to grow. So in a future garden video, I will show you the setup we're going to use outside. We're still waiting kind of for the frost to be over before we do too much out there. But thank you so much for joining us today on Mama Z's Texas Kitchen, and we'll see you on the next video. No, it's your cat that's opening this cabinet. I'm sitting here watching. Lucky, quit. So it's not a ghost.
Okay.
It's Lucky.